A tremendous amount of homes got lost, thousands of homes. But the floodwaters here just keep continuing to rise, and more destruction keeps continuing to happen. And this is the most severe flood I've ever seen. This almost reminds me of what New Orleans looked like.
A multi-billion-dollar disaster echoing the damage of Hurricane Katrina continues its way through northeast Missouri.
But this creeping natural disaster seems relentless in its pursuit south to the Gulf of Mexico. KOMU 8's ASHTON Goodell joins us now. ASHTON, can you even describe what it all looked like?
Jim, Lauren, it is truly unimaginable. We were down there in Iowa, and some of the waters were at least a half a mile from their original banks. We've been tracking the waters from Iowa down to Missouri, and now the relentless floodwaters continue to move into Burlington, Iowa, leaving a trail of disaster in its wake. And as relief crews are rummaging through what's left of bigger cities like Cedar Rapids and Iowa City, smaller towns along the path of the water are waiting for help.
This used to be water encroaching on a building. Now you feel like this building's in the channel of the river, which it really is.
Water's already at their front door as volunteers wade through the water to keep sandbagging.
We had the water at our feet, and we were trying to get the sand up fast enough.
Emergency crews aren't expected for days.
You have to run pumps 100% of the time or the building would be gone.
The river town's sinking economy relies on this business, now neck deep in water.
This is the highest part of the building, so that's why it's so crammed full of merchandise.
This factory warehouse is the city's largest employer and one of the oldest buildings. Crews are working round the clock to save the city's keystone as they pump out water and reinforce the sandbag levee.
This is the worst flood I've ever seen.
Tad Agolia watched in horror as Hurricane Katrina ripped apart New Orleans. He summed up a solution in the aftermath of the storm by creating disaster relief solutions.
There's a need for a quicker response and specialized equipment and men to come in on the first day and the first week of disasters, not days later.
He and his crew are a step ahead of the water, trying to save the town. Free of charge, they're fighting back the floodwater, now flowing a half a mile from the Mississippi riverbanks. The water broke the record of more than 25 feet. More water is expected to hit Quincy, Illinois, Canton, and Hannibal in the coming days.
This is 25 feet right here. And that's right where the river is right now. So if we didn't have these sandbags here, the water would be right there.
Floodwaters pushed past the sandbag levee just downstream. Now the downtown area has more than 25 feet of water. And with more floodwater headed this way, there's little standing between the city and more water.
The floodwaters were just so tremendous, even some of the best levees weren't able to hold.
Across the bridge, the levee in Gulfport, Illinois gave way, draining some water from the streets of downtown Burlington.
That's the only thing that saved this building, was the levee breaking, which is not really good news because somebody on that side got beaten by the levee.
It's not easy. It's not easy. After a while, it definitely, after seeing so much death and destruction all over America, it does take a toll on you.
He says the flood of '08 kept his crew wet from Indiana down to Iowa, and now on to Missouri.
We'll probably be heading south after this as the destruction continues to head south.
Disaster relief is calming fears of flooding.
I'm pretty confident we'll make it. We are going to make it.
They say they'll get the town back on track, saying they swept in more rapidly than the floodwaters.
We'll try to stay ahead of the floodwaters and see if we can help maybe save another community, and if not, we'll be there to help them get through it.
Water crested Tuesday in Burlington at 25.73 feet. Water again rose overnight to 25.3 feet, still above the record stage. 40,000 people are displaced from their homes tonight in the 24 counties now deemed federal disaster areas. Jim, Lauren, it seems that from Iowa's point of view, this will be their new point of reference on flooding rather than the flood of '93.